Welcome back. Ever since the revealing Hema Committee report has been published, several actors have come out and exposed the dirty secrets of the industries that they work in. My colleague Shreya Mondal sat down for a conversation with Bengali actress Ritabhari Chakraborty, who met with the West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee and requested her to form a panel to investigate the sexual abuse allegations within the Bengali industry as well.
Ritabhari, you have met the Chief Minister, you have raised certain point, and we see that this comes, while the whole entire row about the Hema Committee report is going on. So what was necessarily the discussion with that of the Chief Minister?
Honestly speaking, I have very consciously never been part of any political party actively in front of people in this state, and because I'm a known person, I know that me taking up a certain color politically will influence a lot of people's judgment and decision on what they feel is right and wrong if they like me enough to follow me. So it did not happen so swiftly as it might sound that I just met the CM and and we kind of decided that we are going to go ahead and form a committee. It's a little more complicated than that. For many years, being part of the industry, working in the industry, I have observed that women face a lot of problems for being women by powerful men, which are proper sexual harassment issues. And during the Arjigor incident, when I saw there were rallies where men, women, artists going on the road protesting, I saw many of the producers, directors and actors who I know are, offenders, and they offend multiple times and they're still doing it. They're predators and everybody knows that. And they're lighting a candle for a girl who has been raped and murdered. In my head, I'm like, just because you didn't murder these girls, but you did murder their spirit. You did murder their aspirations. So many women came to be directors, came to be, actors who has some suck up, go with it, some like me, just avoid them, and some totally leave. They quit. They don't want to stay in the business anymore because they think that this is the norm. If they don't do it, then they cannot be an actor and they choose a different profession. How sad is that? Because of a sexual urge of some man, or I would say rather it's about power, that a woman has to quit on her dreams completely. And when I saw this, I was in Papua New Guinea shooting. I was very, very upset and angry that night, and I had put up a status thanking our Honorable Chief Minister, writing that, and at the same time, I must mention the Hema Committee report came out and it was being discussed all the time. I was shooting with a Malayalam film crew in PNG, and given that my director, my co-actor, they were all from that industry, they had a lot of insights they could provide me about the report. So our CM called me after a few days. She called herself. She said, I read your post. I want to support you in this, in forming this committee. I already have a group of 5 ministers who are studying the Hema Committee report to understand how it unfolded, how it has performed, like what was the steps taken to basically execute it. And you can tell us that what are the main complaints, what are the main areas we need to focus and target. And we are also trying to pass a law that's going to protect women.
Ritabhari, you spoke in length about the kind of things that happens in the industry, and you are not okay with it since day one. Can you tell us a few names or share some of your experiences that you have felt in the Bengali film industry? Because you're saying you are not alone. Other actresses are also there with you who have had the same experience.
Well, I don't think because whoever women, actresses who went through some kind of trauma or sexual violence and harassment in the industry, they are a victim of the cause. And I think it's morally incorrect to mention a victim, so I'm not going to do that. Neither am I going to take the name of the predators who I have had problems with, because I feel that might interfere with the future investigation of the committee. Because I want a legit investigation. I want him to be answerable in front of police in the long run, not just to social media. That comes later. But I can tell you an incident for sure, an example, so that you can understand how horrific it might be. Have you ever, gone for a meeting outside with a client or a person or before?
Yes.
You have, right? So as a woman, that's normal. You know, just like there's been this whole debate that whether it's okay for women to work at night or not. I'm like, what is there man on women? Working at night is working at night. If you're a doctor, you have to, like, you know, work at night to, like, you know, if you're, and especially if you're an intern. The same way, whichever profession we are in, meeting is normal. But if you're an actress, a meeting can lead anywhere, in my experience. Whenever somebody has ever said that, especially early on in my career when I didn't have a manager and the whole shebang going on for me, you know, the whole entourage where I had to go alone to meet people when I was 21, 22. Say a director or producer would call to have a meeting. Of course, I was smart enough to never go to a hotel room to do a meeting, but theek hai, agar office, varna public place, something like that. So I went for such a meeting for a film at a restaurant, and this man who seemed dignified, at that point, I was totally wrong, by the way, picked me up, took me to this like, you know, restaurant which was near my house. We had a meeting, and while the meeting was on, I could totally guess then that the vibe was completely off, because he was constantly indicating how he has never asked for anything in life other than me and having someone like me as his partner. Though I was 21, I was stupid but not that stupid. I understood that this is not going to work out for me. This will not lead anywhere. I might as well just go home, have dinner, play with my dogs and sleep. Okay, so I told him that I was not being encouraging at all. I finished my tea and I said, please drop me. I think, like, you know, I'm not feeling too well to continue this meeting. I want to go home. So when I got in the car, he also got in the car, and he gets a little cozy towards me, and I was already like on my toes and nerves, like, you know, through the meeting, because this man is old, like I said, with grown daughters and wife and all that, and he was already grossing me out throughout that meeting by indicating that how much he wants to, like, you know, be with me, touch me, blah blah blah. So I was already kind of feeling, you know, dirty and creeped out. So when I sat down, he cozied up and he held my hand. I screamed out of reflex, no word, nothing, like, you know, it just came out of nowhere, and he also got completely startled. Then we sat there for a few seconds. My heart was beating so fast, I was contemplating, should I just get down off the car? But he started the car and he started driving. My goodness, that whole journey of 20 minutes felt like hours. I was so afraid for my life, because I was like, he had this really angry expression while he was driving, and he was a bit shaking off anger, and every second I felt, what if he takes me somewhere or does something to me, like, you know, and I was scared for my life. I mean, just because of what happened right before. Like, you know, when he dropped me home, the only thing I felt blessed for is that I am alive. And the other day when I had that meeting with our CM, I told Didi a bit about the incident, like not so much in length, but I was like, this is one of the incidents that has caused me a lot of pain, and it left a trauma in me for a while. I couldn't leave my house for months. I refused to meet any director or producer who wanted to meet me, okay, because that incident always kept on coming back to me. And she was like, why didn't you slap him? I was like, I would have if it was now. But I was 21.
Ritabhari, any news as to when this committee can come out? Has it been formed? What is the status with that committee? When will it start functioning?
The last thing I know is that the names were more or less finalized. CM spoke to all of them, each one of them herself, is what I know, so that they become part of the committee. But like I said, because of the Arjikor case and the petition for doctors' rights at this point, that the government, the state has been so busy with, I have not intended to ping again or ask again. I'm just waiting for another suitable time to get a proper update. But I feel pretty assured that this is something that is definitely in the works and is going to happen.